Christmas. I'm sorry I haven't made a video for a long time. I've been really busy with my uni work for our final year, and then over Christmas I've just been relaxing, taking a break. In this video I'm going to show you some techniques for marker rendering, how to use them properly, and I'll also do some quick pen sketches, show you some basic techniques. So I hope you enjoy. I've drawn 3 different objects. One is just a basic square, straight on, front on. The next one is a cube from 2 points perspective, so you get 2 vanishing points. And the third one here is a more complicated one, 3-point perspective. It's disappearing to 3 points. With these markers, there are 2 ends. One is for a fine point, and one is for bold strokes. When covering a large area, you're going to be using the thick end rather. So we're starting on this one first. You always start doing the edges, block them in first, and then you need to cover the area using strokes in the same direction. When doing just one layer, you're going to see lines, but then when you build up another layer on top, this colour should blend in together and create one solid tone. You need to work fairly quickly before the layer dries. Okay, now you can see it when it's dried. It's one solid tone. When I did the first layer, I did it in this direction, and with that first layer you get stripes. This can't be avoided. But then on the next layer, I went over it but the opposite direction to cover over the stripes. This then blends in and creates a uniformed tone. I should also say this paper is special paper for markers. It's a marker pad. There's a special residue on the back which stops the ink bleeding through onto the page below, and you need to make sure you're working on the right page. So if you can see, if I do it here, it flows quite nice, but when you turn it over and read it on this side, it smudges and bleeds. So that's one thing to keep in mind when you're using this paper. It's best to use this paper for markers because it can absorb a lot of the ink and it can handle it as well. If you're using just standard printing paper, it's going to get quite clogged up with a lot of ink and then possibly tear and become unusable. Okay, when shading a 3D object, you need to pick a light source. So for this, I'm going to say the light source is going from this direction. So that means this top surface will be the lightest, and then the darkest will be this back surface here, and the middle will be this one. So I've numbered it just so you can remember the way it goes. So using the same technique again for this, but for the top surface it's just going to be 1 cover, the next one's going to be 2, this one 3 coverage. because I've only done one layer on this top surface, you're going to see some lines, but that can't be avoided. I'm turning the page around so I can get to every area without stretching my hand too far. Now we're going to leave that to dry, so then we can do another layer on top. Alright, let's do the next layer. Again, I'm going to work across to blend out the lines from the previous layer. Now I'm using a biro pen to neaten up the edges. Usually this can hide some of the mistakes you've made, but it's quite a big one there. With these particular markers, you want to use them first and then use the biro, because it will make biro smudge. I'm using this white Chinagraph pencil to add light to the edges. This is one of the most important parts, I think. It just finishes it off nicely. And now we just do the same again for the 3-point perspective one. Have the light source coming from this direction this time. So this top one's going to be 1, this side's going to be 2, and this one's going to be the darkest, 3. You don't need to put the numbers, I'm just doing it just so you can understand it easier. Again, start doing the edges first, and then fill in the centre. Okay, now that we have this, there are other things you can do. You can add shadows to it, which we should have done really to make it more believable. You can also make this surface reflective by adding simple shadings with a pencil. and now we've added a little bit of reflection.